What's up, everybody? So today I'm going to be doing a video on how to tune using the H&S Mini Maxx. Well, it's really not H&S Mini Maxx anymore. They're calling it the Mini Maxx tuner. H&S went out of business like 10 years ago, or over 10 years ago. I'm going to be showing the proper way to tune using the Mini Maxx tuner from any of the tuning, the Canadian tuning sites like Tuner Depot or Diesel Mechanic or any of the other ones that you can get the H&S or the Mini Maxx tuner from. Basically, every single video that I've seen so far, pretty much everyone just asking questions. No one really knows how to do it properly. And it's kind of back and forth information. I know this is 2024, so all the videos that I'm seeing were made years ago. This is just like if you're buying a 2011 to 2016 Ford F350, F350 Powerstroke, I think it would work for really any year model. The Mini Maxx, I just have the V1. So if you have a later year model, you'll probably get the V2, but it's pretty much the same thing. It's the same procedure at least. So I'm gonna be going through how to tune the truck if you're wanting to do like a full EGR, DPF, and DEF deletion. All right, here she is. This is my truck. It's a 2012 F350 Lariat. So I'm doing this basically from the beginning. So I think this is like one of the only videos that's gonna actually do the full kind of tuning procedure with the Mini Maxx and all the correct steps you need to take, because all the videos I'm watching, everyone's doing everything backwards. So as you can see, I have the stock exhaust still. DPF is still there. All the sensors are plugged in. And then I'll show the engine. Here's the engine. As you can see, everything is stock except for the S&B cold air intake that I installed. The EGR is still there. All the sensors are still plugged in. So except for the cold air intake, this truck is completely stock. I have a Sinister diesel cold side charge pipe coming in, which basically a billet aluminum cold side charge pipe, just to go ahead and replace this. I think the previous owner probably already replaced it because this kind of looks new, but I don't want to risk that cracking and you losing, turbo boost pressure and all that and getting stranded. So I'm going to be replacing that, but that's for another day. So today, basically what I'm going to show is using the Mini Maxx tuner and tuning it the proper way. All right, so this is my Mini Maxx V1. The new ones that you get from Tuner Depot have the V1 printed. The old ones don't. So these come with a micro SD that has the preloaded tunes already on it. So you do not have to like load any tunes or any MCC codes or anything like that. You can if you want, if you have like a professional mechanic to do it, or a tuner guy that or whatever. But I'm not getting into that. I'm just using the the Mini Maxx programs that come preloaded onto the SD card in the back. So this was super easy to install. Just show it real quick. It has the HDMI port. Basically all I did to route it was I took a little flathead into here, popped this thing off. It's super easy. You just kind of pop it all the way up, pop this off, and I routed this down into this hole down, and it goes literally like through the dash and out under here. And then I already have the OBD adapter. This is the adapter that comes with the Mini Maxx. And on the 2012 Ford F250s, F350s, there's this bundle of wires down here that are capped off from the factory. So with the power wire that Mini Maxx gives you for this to power this, the OBD adapter, basically you just want to splice into a 12 volt keyed ignition source. And so on the instructions, it tells you like where you need to tap into on your model truck. On my model truck, I had to tap into a white wire with a blue stripe on it. That's what I tapped into. So that's what I tapped the red wire from this onto the white wire with the blue stripe, and then the black negative from this you just cap off or tape it up or whatever. You don't need to attach the black wire to a ground from this because the OBD, here I'll show you, I have everything stuffed up in here right now, so because I was waiting to do it, but this the actual OBD input that goes here supplies a ground, a negative ground. So you only have to use the power. You only have to splice the power from the power cable into the 12 volt keyed ignition source. And yeah, that's pretty much it. And then I have this set to keyed right now, but I think I'm going to turn it on battery to actually do the tune. Because there's certain parts, and this is the thing, guys, there's certain parts in the instructions that are very vague, okay? And I've had to just do a plethora of research to figure out what makes sense, what doesn't make sense. One of the things they don't mention is that during the setup, there's multiple times where you have to turn the key off, okay? And then press continue on the tuner, and then turn the key back to run. Well, if you turn the key off, you lose 12 volt, your 12 volt keyed ignition source to the OBD adapter for the Mini Maxx. So if you lose your 12 volt keyed ignition, then it reboots the Mini Maxx. So I'm thinking to myself, if you have it in that little switch on the OBD adapter, if you have that in keyed mode, then it would turn off as soon as, because I have it wired to a 12 volt keyed ignition, then as soon as I turned the ignition off, it would turn off. So I'm thinking that for the actual setup and programming part, I will set it to battery so that it's powering itself just from this port, because it can power itself just from this. You don't necessarily have to wire it into a 12 volt keyed ignition, but then it's always going to stay on because of the battery, and you'll have to manually click it off every time you turn off your truck or it'll drain your battery. I'm not fucking with that shit. I'd forget it, and then my battery would be dead the next day. So anyways, that's how I'm going to do it. As soon as I start programming it, or right before, I'm going to switch that OBD port over to battery, so that, and then I'm going to plug everything in. I'm going to plug the OBD, input into the OBD port of the truck, and then I'm going to plug this HDMI into this. I just have everything kind of wired up and ready to go. It's plug and play at this point. Okay, so one of the main problems, I guess, that I've seen in other people's videos that have used the Mini Maxx from 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago or whatever, was that it seems that almost everyone was starting to unplug sensors in their EGR and remove stuff in terms of doing the physical delete on the truck before they tuned it. And I've seen a lot of people in forums say to make sure to tune first, then start removing sensors. And the reason is because if you remove your sensors and then you tune it, there's a part where you have to start your truck, and I guess during that part, if you already have your sensors removed, it's going to throw those engine codes, and some of them are permanent engine codes, while those sensors are off. It's going to throw those codes, then it's going to delete those it's going to delete the programming. But since the codes have already been thrown, I guess they just stick. And so a lot of people, once they finish everything, they have, certain codes that still show up that they can't delete. But I don't want to risk it. And I know for a fact that if you tune it first and you go through the entire programming and then you start removing sensors, then you won't have an issue, because your sensors were in, and then, when it was going through that process, it was able to just remove the programming with no codes on the dash. So that's really what the instructions say. It says to start this and make sure when you start the programming, there are no codes. So I hope that makes sense. That's the number one thing that I see people fucking up. But today, all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna tune it with the Mini Maxx, and I'm gonna show that on this video. And then once once it's reprogrammed and the EGR, like the programming for the EGR, DPF, and DEF are deleted and the tune's done, then I'm gonna come out here and I'm gonna unplug the sensors from the EGR. I'm leaving the EGR in there for now. It's gonna get removed, and I have an EGR delete kit. I'm gonna put block off plates on. But the EGR is gonna stay in there for now. All the sensors are gonna be removed and it'll run just fine. You don't wanna keep the EGR in for too long after you like delete the programming for it. You wanna go ahead and remove it and put block off plates, especially if you're running like high boost pressure and stuff like that. I mean, really, to get the most out of the tune, you wanna delete everything. You wanna remove the EGR system, block it off completely, because if it's still recirculating, you know, it's still building up soot and it's still, you know, fucking up your engine and dirtying everything up. So it's best to do that. But just for today, I'm gonna be doing the tune. I'm gonna be removing the sensors from the EGR, keeping the EGR in the truck for now. And then I'm gonna be doing the full DPF delete. So I have a full 4-inch downpipe back exhaust system. It's just straight pipe, so it deletes the cat, the DPF, and then like the muffler or resonator or whatever. And so that's just a straight pipe all the way back. And then I'm gonna I have like a 4 to 6 inch tip. It's like a 15-inch tip that I'm gonna put on the very end of it, just for aesthetics or whatever. So main thing here is tune first, tune everything first, delete everything, delete all the programming first, then remove the physical sensors, remove the physical parts. So yeah, next step, I'm gonna be showing y'all, I'm not gonna go through the, like, you know, the whole DPF deinstall and exhaust install. You can find those videos all over YouTube. There's people that have done those correctly, and you know, there's no need for me to do another video on that. There's already videos out there. All right, guys, one last thing before I start the actual tuning of the vehicle with the Mini Maxx is, and this is like probably one of the most important steps. This is another major thing that people forget. I strongly recommend getting a 10 amp constant battery charger and plugging the charger into your passenger side battery. It really doesn't matter, but I think your passenger side battery is like kind of the main battery, but they're wired in parallel. So if you plug it in over here, it's gonna still charge both. If you plug it in over there, it's still gonna charge both. You have to have at least a 10 amp constant charge battery charger. This is what I'm using. Duralast got this for like 90 bucks at AutoZone. You can get 10 amp chargers on Amazon for way less. This is just what I got, and it has a 40 amp engine start, like a jump start mode, 15 amp rapid charge, which is what I'm gonna put it on, is like a 15 amp constant charge, and then a 3 amp maintainer if you just want to do like a trickle charge or whatever. There's a good chance, even with good quality batteries, they're in good conditions, that if something takes longer on your tune, maybe it's just, you know, the SD card is not, you know, the best SD card that they used or whatever. I mean, all these things are not made by H&S anymore. They're like made in China or Canada or whatever. So if something takes a long time during the tune, or you have a hiccup during the tuning process and you need more time, and then your battery dies, if your battery dies or you lose enough voltage while you're doing the tune, you can break your PCU. And that's just a nightmare. All I know is that sounds like a major headache, and it's not worth it. So this is probably the second most important thing, next to tuning before removing sensors. All right, guys, so as you can see, I have the battery charger hooked up. We're in the lead acid mode, and we are pushing around 16.5 amps, so we're good to go. Next, we're gonna start the tune. Remember, I left all sensors plugged in. Everything is still completely stock. Okay, so I plugged everything in, plugged that in. I switched it over to battery power. So as you can see, the key's not in the ignition, so it's just running off the battery right now. Not the key 12 volt ignition source. Got the USB or HDMI plugged in. And all right, so here we go. Let's go to menu and change vehicle. And we're gonna do 11 to 12 Ford, 6.7 Powerstroke. Yes. Loading file from SD card. And it reboots. Okay, so first issue I had was it got stuck on initializing communications after it was downloading like the SD card thing, and or after it rebooted. I was looking it up online. A lot of people were saying like to do some weird shit where you like plug this in halfway until it beeps to get the power pins to connect, and then like once it starts initializing communication, push it in all the way. Fuck that shit. All I had to do was press the back button, and it took me out of the initializing communication screen and back to this. And then now when I go to menu and then go down to show settings, it shows that application 1112 Ford 6.7 liter Powerstroke. So it worked, thankfully. So now the next step is to do install download. Installing on 1112 Ford 6.7 liter Powerstroke. Click yes. Agree to the disclaimer. Key is in the off position. Okay, turn the key to the run position. Now it's in the run position. Continue. There's the VIN number. I don't know, there's no button here, so let's see. Okay, there we go. Copying engine file to memory. This stuff is normal. It's gonna cycle through all of the different like CEL codes and start beeping at you like crazy. Initializing download. All right, here we go. That took about 3 minutes. Not too bad. Oh, okay. Well, that was only download number 2. Okay, I don't want to adjust the speed limiter. I don't want to tune the transmission right now. All right, so I'm gonna click no. Is the emission system still present on this vehicle, or has it been removed or modified for high sulfur fuel use? So I'm gonna click removed even though I haven't removed it. And I'm gonna say no. They make it kind of confusing, but I think realistically, if you're trying to delete all of the, like the EGR, DPF, and DEF, then you want to say that everything's removed, even though it's not, so that it actually deletes the tunes. I don't know, it's confusing. I'm hoping that everything works properly. We're gonna find out very soon. All right, so download finished, and then it went straight to this screen. Download is complete. Please start your engine now. All right, here we go. We're gonna start. Press reset to exit screen. Updating files. Truck started right up. We have this exhaust fluid range, 800 miles. And it's gonna reboot. Cool. There we go. And we have no engine lights whatsoever. It goes, I guess, to stock mode, but you have all the different tunes. You have stock, tow, street, and performance. I'll just keep it in stock for now. If I go to menu, let's go to diagnostics. Oh, okay, so you gotta do that. Let's turn the truck off. take it back to the run position so that I can do this. And yeah, let's scan. Yeah, there are no DTCs detected. Go back to diagnostics. No DTCs on the transmission either. I think we are good to go. Next step, gonna unplug all the sensors from the EGR, and we're gonna start the DPF delete. All right, so next up, we're going to unplug all the EGR sensors. Once I unplug all the EGR sensors, I'm gonna get back in the truck, start it, and make sure no engine codes pop up, but they shouldn't now that all of that stuff was deleted. So there's one right here. There's one right here. There's another one back there. So there's 3 here, and then there's one more sensor down here. This is also an EGR sensor right there that we are going to unplug. All right, guys. Took me about 3.5 hours by myself. It was not that bad. Some parts were a pain in the ass, but figured it out. So that's cool. Sounds really good. And the coolest part is, started it right up. So remember, I unplugged all the EGR sensors, and I just did the entire DPF delete and unplugged all the sensors, obviously, from the DPF to get it off. Installed the straight pipe. So DPF delete, and I unplugged all the EGR sensors. I will be completely removing the EGR next week. And putting a block off plate delete kit. But yeah, best part is absolutely no engine codes whatsoever. I'm super happy with this. If you follow this video step by step in terms of like the tuning process and the information that I was giving and advice, I guarantee you probably won't have any issues whatsoever. So I'm gonna take it for a test drive, and yeah, I'll catch you guys later. Hope you enjoyed. Peace.